this is John.
This is GOODSKY from the Community Advisory Committee
Oh,
for Community Public Schools.
yeah. Hi, Teague. What's going on?
Do you have some time to talk, or is
Uh,
this not a good time for you?
yeah, this should work. What's up?
So I had read your article that you had written on the Duluth Monitor, and I do feel like there were some things that were kind of inaccurate. So I kind of wanted to talk to you to see if I could clear the story,
Okay.
or maybe get more perspective on what you're, I guess, wanting.
Let me just. Oh, yeah, that's good. I'm gonna try to pull it up here real quick, so I can talk knowledgeably here.
Sure.
I mean, you can go ahead. I do remember it pretty well because it wasn't that long ago. So what's up? What do you think was wrong or inaccurate?
So I think you were told a narrative that wasn't totally correct. So we did pass our bylaws for APAC on September 3rd, and we have that actually recorded, but we needed to get the permission from the district to view the recording. So that took some time, but I do have it if you want to see it.
Yeah.
I guess for me, where I'm coming from, I'm very protective of this committee. I've been on it for the past couple of years, and it's been kind of defunct for a while. And so we have been trying to revitalize it and get more parents involved because there's a lot of stuff that the district gets away with. And so I feel like part of where I'm coming from is part of where you're coming from, where we all want a basic level of accountability. But I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable when we come in and we put all this pressure on the parents who are trying to do their best. So I think that's kind of where we're like at an odds.
Well, sure. I mean, I didn't really get into your work too much or your goals. I mean, I would agree with your goals. I guess the focus of my article was the grievance hearing, in particular.
Yeah, that's fair. We've never had to use the grievance procedure. And so it was fairly awkward, I think, figuring out how to do that as a set of parents. But I do think the grievance procedure was valid. It was taken from the 2013 bylaws almost directly.
No, I mean, not really, because there was really no... Once the district said that they weren't going to be involved, there was not really a process for anybody to follow. And like I reported, it was sort of being made up as everybody went along.
I think I guess I don't know where Amber GOODSKY is at with everything. But I think the decision was if the district didn't want to be involved, we would proceed with the rest of the steps.
But there were hardly any steps. The things that were being done were not laid out in policy, like issuing an open call for people who wanted to be on the grievance committee. That was not... There's no policy about that. They just decided to do that. And that's what happens when there's no policy. People tend to just do something. But it wasn't... At least I wasn't able to find any formal policy outlining these steps that they were doing.
I do think we have it in our bylaws, but let me double check that because I think there's probably an organizational problem. So I record all the meetings on my recorder, and then we upload them to YouTube. They should all be publicly available. And the bylaws would be somewhere in the APAC.
I mean, I have read through both bylaws, what's posted on the district's website.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't always... We have kind of an adverse relationship with them where they kind of sabotage us, and they don't always put the accurate information either, and that's part of the difficulty of this, is like reasserting our own narrative and what's happening. That's essentially why we have to record our meetings, because what was happening before was we would have our meetings, we would come up with our decisions, we would bring them to the district, and then they would kind of twist it and say, well, the parent committee wanted this. And we would say, no, that's not what was said. this is what was said. This is how it was said.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate having the recordings. That helps a lot. So you had said that there was a recording of the meeting where you actually approved the bylaws?
Yep. So September 3rd, so this is difficult because I started working a full-time job this year. So I wasn't present to physically record those. I had asked my husband to do it, and then the recorder had died. But the district had recorded it through their Google something.
Okay.
And I got access to that literally today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be interested in listening to that.
Is there an email that I can contact you at?
It's
I prefer email, to be honest, because it's factual.
yeah, contact@duluthmonitor.com.
Okay. Contact?
That's it. Yep.
Contact@duluthmonitor.com. Okay.
But I mean, so and that's all. This is all good to have this information. But like I said, my article was primarily focused on the grievance because I had seen the open call for participants, and that's what got me interested because I had never seen that before. And then apparently there wasn't an agenda mailed out to the people involved or something. And like I say, it was just like sort of seemed like it was being changed as it went along. Like, first of all, they said the voting would be to anybody who reviewed the recording. But when I talked to Amber about that, she changed it. She changed it to just the people who were at the meeting. And just the fact that she could change it like that suggested to me that the whole process was arbitrary.
Yeah, that is kind of a problem. I guess I'll have to talk to Amber about that and see what's going on. I mean, I know that she does want to do things correctly. I think she doesn't have a lot of experience in this area, and there's been a very adverse relationship with the district. This is I think what's causing me the frustration is I feel like okay, the grievance procedure maybe wasn't the greatest. I think it really felt awkward for all of us because we had never done that before and we didn't really necessarily know how that was going to look. We're not like practiced politicians. And it's something we can work on for sure. I guess we're trying really hard to fight for accountability for the Native students in the district. And I would appreciate your support in that, to be honest. I don't want to have an adverse relationship with, like, a reporter.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't really reported, other than attending one meeting, I haven't really reported on your goals. It was really focused on the grievance hearing so far. The one meeting I attended, I didn't see anything adverse going on. I think it was the last one at the school there. I don't think you're at that one, but they approved. What is it? Is there some plan that was like had to be approved or something? I forget the name of it, but they approved that.
Oh yeah, it's the American Indian Education Award from the state grant funding.
Yeah, I think that's right. So there was a lot of discussion about it, and then they approved it. I didn't notice any controversy or any adverse interactions at that meeting.
Huh. Interesting. I guess I wasn't there, so yeah. I'll try to review it when I have some time here. So it sounds like your intention is to continue attending our meetings.
As much as I can. I have a lot of meetings that I go to, but I did add that to my list as that'll be my goal, to attend as many as I can.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get this sense from you that your goal is that things are done correctly, right? That proceedings are done with, like, fidelity and...
Well, usually I look at what the policies are, and then if they deviate from that, I report that. In this case, it was the grievance itself. Like, I mean, to be honest, I don't think that was a very good grievance to be filing a grievance against somebody on the committee for something they said to a reporter.
I mean, the grievance is misinformation, though. And if you're being misinformed, you're not given the correct information, like that our bylaws are not valid.
I disagree with people getting charges filed against them for speaking with reporters. that comment that Lydia Schinkel made was never reported anywhere. And it was after the meeting. It was like her defense was it was her personal. She was asked what she thought of the meeting, and she said what she thought. I don't think anybody should be punished for that ever.
I think we have other issues with Lydia misinforming people, though, and causing controversy when there doesn't need to be controversy. And that's something that we have tried to bring up with her, and we're not getting accountability. I think there's separate issues there, but, I mean, I understand you wanting to fight for who you see as an underdog. But I don't think that's really the case here.
I just don't think I don't think you should ever file a grievance for somebody for speaking to a reporter about their opinion about something. To say that it's misinformation, it was just an opinion. She said she felt disrespected. That's an opinion. She could, even if there was no disrespect whatsoever, she could still feel that way. And so saying that is totally First Amendment protected speech, and it's really, you can't really prove that. For me, it's
not about the First Amendment. I think Lydia can say what she likes to say, but I think on a committee, you have a responsibility to your committee, and that's been a recurring issue with us this year.
But all she said was she felt disrespected.
Well, so and what? We haven't had a solid grievance procedure, so we tried to have one.
But why would you file a grievance for against somebody who said they felt disrespected?
Well, we had mentioned specifically the directive that was given to us by Anthony Bonds about how we are supposed to be respectful.
Yeah.
And that being disrespectful has really high, heavy-handed consequences, like being trespassed from the district, which I feel like is...
But you didn't. I don't think you read my article, because I went through all this. I don't think Anthony Bonds was saying, if some committee member happens to mention in public that they felt disrespected, that the district's going to trespass you. That would have to be somebody saying that to the school district in a formal communication of some kind. I didn't get that. Anthony.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I didn't get that. Yeah, I read Anthony Bonds' letter, accusing members of disrespect and things. I didn't get that merely somebody saying they felt disrespected in a casual comment is going to inspire the district to trespass you guys. Merely, you're saying that because of that letter that he wrote, that no member should ever say they felt disrespected, because then the district might trespass you?
Yeah, that's actually it, though, is that it's those specific terms when you're talking to the Native community who come from a respect culture. The word disrespectful is a loaded word.
Yeah, well, even so, even if that was the case, you can't.
That is the case.
Even if it's the case that the district would trespass you, if anybody ever said that you were disrespectful, you still should not be able to file a grievance against somebody for saying that. Because if she really felt disrespected and a reporter asks her how she felt, it's her right to say that.
I didn't realize that the reporter had asked her that.
Yeah, well,
that was the part that was missing that I figured out when we did the grievance hearing. Was, okay, you were asked for your opinion. That is okay.
But even if she wasn't,
have an issue with that,
even if she wasn't asked, even if she just decided to say that on her own, that's totally her right.
I think it's a weird thing to say when you sit there and create infighting in a committee.
It could be weird.
You want to try to make other committee members look bad.
It could be weird. It could be inappropriate.
In particular.
It could be weird. It could be inappropriate. It could even be not true. But it's her right to say that.
It is her right to say that, and I can file a grievance about it.
Okay.
It's my right to file a grievance about it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what I reported, and I reported on my opinion about the whole grievance. And but I think the primary issue here is the lack of a established process for a grievance. Once the school district takes themselves out of the process, there's hardly any process left, and we saw that with the two Ambers kind of making it up as they went along. And I feel like if there was an established process, a lot of these problems would be avoided.
We don't have an established process.
I know that's my whole point.
We will not be able to establish a process without trying to see what the process looks like. We don't have the guidance to really be able to do that. So I think, I guess I don't know because I'm not a leader for APAC.
But you're a leader of one of the other committees, right?
I am, yeah. Who told you that?
What do you mean who told me? I'm an investigative reporter. I talk to lots of people. Why would that be a secret? That's not a secret, is it?
It's not a secret, but it's weird that you know things about me without talking to me.
Well, I reached out to you for comment.
When did you do that?
I don't know. I believe I did. But anyway, I'm listening to you now.
Okay. Yeah, I run the Title VI committee, so it's the federal funding.
Mm-hmm.
APAC is the state, and then JOM goes through Fond du Lac is their fiscal agent. It's a separate funding stream. So there's 3 main funding streams that pour into the American Indian Education Department that are supposed to be used for the students.
Okay. Yeah. But they're all kind of interrelated, intertwined. They share members, I believe.
Yep.
So, in many ways, issues with one are issues with all, I would say.
Okay.
But, anyway, if you have that recording, you can send that along. I'll take a listen. That sounds like the only thing that's in dispute with what I wrote. Everything I wrote was regarding the grievance, the hearing itself, the language of the grievance, Anthony Bonds' letter, talking about the trespassing threat, and then my personal opinion that the grievance was not founded in anything substantial.
Okay. I feel like I'm trying to level with you right now and try to find like some mutual agreement, and I feel like you are not accepting it, and that's okay. I think I'm going to end the conversation, and I'll try to reach out to you through email.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for calling.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Bye.